And if I can have you take home with you today the knowledge that the food we eat truly impacts our health. And I think everybody has mentioned that, because if you change your food, you change your life. And how do I know that? How can I stand up here and look you in the eye and tell you that if you change what you put on the end of your fork, you will absolutely change your life? So what we eat is more important than we ever knew. We never knew, I never knew how important food was as a nurse for 41 years, up until 3 years ago. And no matter where you are today, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. The body may take longer to heal if you're older like me. I'm 62 years old, but no matter where you are, you don't have to stay there. There is hope. There's hope. If we change what we eat, if we understand how powerful food is, and there's healing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of my family's journey. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the diseases that we're dealing with. So I want a show of hands. How many people here have ever been on some other type of diet and you lost the weight? Awesome. Now keep your hands up. Keep them up. How many of you, put your hand down if you have been on one diet and you never needed to go on another one, or did you regain it? A few of you have been on one diet. Most of us, what happens? 95% of us. There's many a diet that'll work, isn't there? There's the cabbage soup diet, there's all the things that you can go and pay for meetings, and you can lose weight on it. But historically, 95% of us that have lost weight regain it back, and then some. And if you go on a very low-calorie diet, it can actually trigger a reduction in your resting metabolic rate, which means that just sitting there, you'll burn less calories after you've been on a very low-calorie diet. So for me, I know that 59 years as a very obese lady, I would step on the scales and my scales would go, help. Now that's funny, right? I find myself amusing. I'm not, my kids say, Mom, you're not as funny as you think you are. Oh, but I amuse myself, and that's so. The scales would say that. So this was me at my heaviest, 307 pounds, smiling on the outside, absolutely miserable on the inside. Absolutely miserable. When I started low-carb keto 3 years ago, this was me. So I was about 240 pounds at this time. And what's interesting is that even knowing I was having a picture taken of me, I have a candy bar in my hand. Literally addicted to eating. And I'm a nurse, and I lead teams, and I've been in ICU, and I've been in the OR, and I'm like, how could you have a moderate amount of intelligence, be a pretty good mom, decent wife, ask my husband who just walked in, but not be able to manage your weight? What is wrong with this picture? And I didn't realize that it was hormonally triggered. It was the insulin response. It was that blood sugar up and the blood sugar down. And once I changed what went on the end of my fork, all of those things started to level out. So my sister Debbie, who's in the hospital today, and those of you that follow me on Facebook know that she's recovering from very significant head and neck surgery for cancer. She's always looked out after me. She's about 18 months older than me. And so this journey is all her fault. Because she did not give up on me. She kept calling me, Cindy, I've started this low-carb diet. And I'm like, I gotta go. My boss is calling me. Oh, good, look, the timer went off. But this journey is all her fault. And that was us many years ago. And this was us just a couple months ago in April. And so I want to look in the camera and I want to see Debbie. You got it. You got this. She's a warrior. And she sent me this video because I kept hanging up on her. And she said, will you just watch this video? Will you just watch it and then call me back? And so I watched it, and I think Dr. Westman for sure mentioned this. You can always find her because you got those blue pants on. And the essence of this video is, what if we've got it all wrong? What if instead of putting you on metformin and insulin and watching you gain weight, and I work in wound care, and so many diabetics have a foot amputated or a leg amputated or both, or they go on renal dialysis. And I watched that, and the longer I watched it, the more angry I got, because it all started to click in. I thought, oh my God, this makes sense. And then she sent me this one. And this is the one you were talking about earlier, where you're actually teaching the class. And that was my first introduction to Dr. Westman, who keeps it simple, who keeps it easy to do, who makes it prescription strength when you do 20 total carbs versus over-the-counter strength, which is 20 net carbs. So it's going to be really wonderful when he shares with you what he would teach in this class. So all of this started to make sense. And as I looked at our family, we had always been obese. All of us, always overweight. And so we always said to each other, it's just our genes, it's just our genetics, we're just destined to be this way. And we've been loving, funny, I think, insightful, smart, but morbidly obese. Every single one of us. Was it our genetics, or was it that we ate the same way? Because we grew up that way. My mom grew up in the Depression. She's from Swedish stock. But now, in 2019, we're a bunch of losers. And I couldn't be happier to share a little bit of my story with you. So that's my sister, her heaviest. That's my mom. And as you saw, that's her today. This is her husband, Bob, who did not start until about 8 months ago. He was totally resistant to this, and he feels tremendously better, sleeping better, less aches and pains, all of that stuff about insulin. So my sweet mom, diabetic, insulin dependent. My brother Mike, who's lost over 100 pounds, right after this was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Had to have a massive resection, abdominal wall, reconstruction, all of this. 4 children, walking his daughter down the aisle, and has 2 other kids married now. We don't have to suffer needlessly if we take time to educate ourselves as to what food does or doesn't do for us. So when we start to understand, when we take the time and we come to days like this is my brother Steve, also a registered nurse. Duh, we're supposed to know this stuff, right? And that's him now. When you change your food, you change your life, you change your future. My daughter Rachel, type 1 diabetic, since the age of 3, insulin dependent, of course. Dropped her insulin, changed her carbs, could not get pregnant, had 2 miscarriages. And I said to her and her husband, and I was just getting into low carb, and I said, what if you just take a break? They were trying to do very low calorie. I said, and have some bacon, eat some avocado. Maybe it'll help your hormones. And this is her now with her baby boy Noah, and was able to successfully carry a pregnancy after she'd been keto about 9 months. So her husband, who has lost a total of 100 pounds now, 50 on keto, when I said to him, this was him now, when they bought their first house, I said, you can have ribeye steak with butter on it. You can have stuff. He's like, ooh. So men in the room, this is a man's diet. This is a good diet for you. It's not cardboard and carrot sticks, okay? It's meat and good veg with butter on it and cheese. My other daughter, Lauren, and she's lost over 40 pounds. She couldn't be with us today. My nephew and his wife, he had already graduated from college, had his degree in music. He is currently in nursing school. Driving him crazy in the nutrition class. He flunked his first test. He said, put down the right answers. I said, you put down anyway, but he's in nursing school now. And anyway, so if you look at our total, Lisa said that it was 700 pounds, but we're now at 917 pounds.